there's a gap with your expenses. You're looking at it at only your OPEX, but what's your actual burn rate month on month to sustain your project? Are royalties enough to do that? I don't think so. So we tried to pivot you guys into like a business operation that is actually operating instead of being reliant on royalties and constant purchasing, because you guys can't create a purchasing narrative.
Yes.
I think that's sort of where I differentiate, at least compared to a lot of advisors out there, because we know our lane, we know what we're good at, and we know that what we work on, they actually pivot into things that actually achieve their project goals, compared to all these smoke and mirror projects where we'll launch a 10K collection, we'll raise 50K, and then we'll vanish after 3 months because we didn't really have a goal. I mean, not to bash, but
Yes.
a lot of other advisors, that's what they do.
Yeah. No, I love that, and I think you're absolutely right in as and this is just from me knowing you for the past few years. We've gotten closer over the more recent months, but I've seen your reputation and I've seen how you carry yourself and how you the way the project you're involved with do so well, because what you've just said is you come at it from a Web 2 perspective, and I think this is a big factor that is missing in Web 3, is because we are born out of a FOMO, right? We're born out of just insane money for JPEGs, initially. That sentiment carries through now in a time, and in the bear market or the bull market, it carries through in a time where actually all of these projects are money. Okay, some of them are flippers, but like we said about building these super fans and this community, those people don't want to flip. Like they've bought, like yourself in Cat Cartel, you bought 60. You don't necessarily have the intention to flip out. Maybe you're going to flip out to gain your initial investment, but are you actually there just to make money and get out? Or are these people there to see your business do well? And I think there is so much space, especially in the bear market, for businesses with that intention, to build for long term, for longevity, for sustainability. And yes, you can pivot. Yes, you could launch different collections once you've got that sustainability. But when people just sort of go up and then back down, it becomes like this cycle of like just taking liquidity out of the ecosystem, and that's not sustainable for anyone involved. And I really hope to see that sort of sentiment changing towards, when you come to do an NFT collection, okay, you need to have nice art, you need to do cool PFP or whatever you want, but within that is this longevity in mind, and the community in mind, because as a founder, I feel responsible to make sure that what I'm doing will benefit not only myself, not only my community, but the ecosystem. And I don't feel like we see that enough from many projects.
I think there's like a sandcastle in that whole phrase. I think it's problematic when we start to look at NFT raises as an actual business raise, because I mean Wall Street will cop you down on it at the fact that why is this being raised like a security when it isn't a security? The moment you promise your holders that they act like shareholders to a business that will do X, you sort of play into the eyesight of the SEC, and I think that's also fundamentally what's the problem with NFTs. The moment I turn people who hold an NFT collection from 5,000 buyers into 5,000 stakeholders into whatever I'm doing is in itself a problem. I think we're starting to see, and you can see how that's been impossible for a lot of the space, and that's why people are down really bad, is because the fact of the matter is we've scope creep what NFTs are supposed to be, when essentially it's supposed to be attuned to a seasonal release for fashion or like shoes. Like when an Air Jordan 1 releases, you're only ever going to have that much supply. You're only ever going to buy that one Air Jordan. And that's all it'll ever be. You don't own Jordan. But what we've done in NFTs is we've turned it so that no, 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 you own Jordan when you buy this NFT. And that's why founders are leaving, are rugging, have insane expectations because they promise you that you act like an owner, which you aren't. I mean, just because you give capital to allow them to execute doesn't mean that you're supposed to be acting like a shareholder. I think that's where a lot of projects need to start redesigning themselves, right? And you're seeing some of the projects who have smarter corporate structuring actually be the ones that work really well. Heist, for example. No one talks about Longwood Labs, but Longwood Labs controls what the Heist does. The Heist is initially just that IP, that game. That's all it is. That's all it'll ever be, and your NFT just allows you to play. I think that model works, but the moment you turn it into like, no, 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 you become a shareholder for X, and because you're a shareholder of X, you get revenue share from everything we do. That's a security. That's where the SEC is copying down. That's why the SEC has such a big crosshair on the NFT raises of our entire ecosystem, because people have been selling that message. It's not supposed to be. You're supposed to be selling the message of this is a club. This is art. This is consumable. This allows you to play. This allows you to have access to this, to that, to this. Never deciding power. Unless, of course, you're going to use it as a DAO, then it will always just be a DAO. We need to stop scope creeping everything into this convoluted department store of utility and just focus on what it is.
Yeah, fair. I like what you're saying. I understand what you're saying completely, because I think when you look at how bigger brands are looking at Web3 and digital ownership, take Starbucks for instance with their loyalty program. Okay, they are utilizing what is a trending technology, but also they are giving ownership of the asset that they're giving away, right? But that's again like a piece of memorabilia, right? It's like if you bought the T-shirt from a particular football match, but now it's a finite amount and there's only X, Y, and Z amount, and you have ownership of it. Or what I really like is the consumer contact, so understanding what your consumers are doing with what they are getting from you. So if they're getting an NFT, maybe it's for free, maybe it's paid, maybe they've bought it, but you now have that connection with their wallet, and you can see what do they do. Do they trade it? Do they flip it? Do they hold it? Do they, does it go somewhere else? And I think we haven't seen that sort of direct relationship to individual consumers before, and that really excites me for the potential there. And again, I think communities, again with Uni-Fy, one of the things I envision the community of Uni-Fy having would be being like a test pool, right? So brands will eventually reach out to us and say, right, well, we want to provide something in the NFT space. We don't want to worry about building discords and all of this, but we do want to make contact with consumers interested in our product. Can we offer a drop to your community? Might be free, might be paid. They would get that, and now that brand that's provided that drop now has some analytic feedback data from within a new ecosystem that they can monitor, utilize, and adapt with their thing going forward, whether they come back again or they then decide to go and do something. I think that's a really powerful part of being this early in here.
I agree. I think that's why, for these dev shop projects, I always tell them, you should focus on turning your user base into your first adopters and your first users instead of just trying to make money off of them. Because the fact of the matter is, you're not supposed to be even promising them future money and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, with Uni-Fy, we're not even, although we have planned for an NFT collection, Like, really and truly, we are looking at ourselves as a platform that will benefit the ecosystem, and it's cross chain, it's any chain, anyone can use it, but we want it to be a window into Web3 for Web2 users. And whether or not we do an NFT collection down the line, we are building. Like we just last night we had our meeting with the dev. We saw our first UI. Like, obviously we seen the back end in code, but now we're actually seeing it attached to the Figma. And we're not out here going to mint. We're not out here trying to get any money, because we know that actually what we need is we need to build an MVP, and we need that use case, and we need to see the consumers using it, and the projects and business using it, and that will tell us where we go with it. But no matter what, we have that faith in the fact that blockchain's not going anywhere, right? Solana could go to zero, but the chain's still going to exist. The technology's still there. There's so much being built on these chains there's no way it's going anywhere. And the fact that the government have got so many eyes on it since we went from a million users to 800, it's huge, And I think the future is bright, but you just have to see it much more as a business, and less like this sort of money, like a way to get money from people. Like it's sustainable crowdfunding or something like that is a better right sort of methodology to look at it from, I think.
No, you're right. I think to turn the NFT space and any chain into Kickstarter, for what it's worth, is already, it's not gonna last. It won't work for long.
No, agreed. Awesome, man. So I'm just going through. I've got some more questions for you. How are you doing on time? Like, do give me a heads up if you need to get on. I know you've had an extremely long day.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm actually decompressing now, so this is cool. I
Oh,
am
fantastic.
open and just chilling.
Outstanding, man. So look, let's go into Alpha Pharaohs, and let's talk about Alpha Pharaohs. Let's talk about your rise from raiding Twitter to now raiding multiple social media platforms, and the task to earn. I know I've been blinkers on with Uni-Fy, and I haven't looked up enough. I know I sort of touching with you and Tim, and I know the foundation of what's going on, but I'd love to understand more. So if you want to dive into Alpha Pharaohs, that would be fantastic, and just start wherever you want to start on that.
Sure, man. Kind of difficult to start because, as I always say, when you drive a Ferrari, you don't talk about it. You just drive it out of the garage. I think that's always been the weird philosophy, and probably that's why our floor is so low. Because I don't chill when I'm on space. But for what it's worth, um, Alpha Pharaohs, we've always been known as like the loud community, the loud, expansive community, and that's centered with our raid to earn platform. For normies, raiding is like on any social as of late. So whether that be Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Threads, Facebook, technically MySpace, we can actually also do it. But you literally commensurate pharaohs to react, like, comment, retweet, repost, share, follow as of late also, on any of these socials. And you do it by giving a certain amount of Solana, and for all pharaohs to eat up after it. So basically allowing us to engage and rally behind your socials and reward us in whatever form of payment that you want. Um, it was initially started as like a means to just activate our community, because we've always been doing it manually, at least in the early days, and that's how we got known.
Mm.
But the platform came along, and that's sort of what took center stage for a while. I think it's also why, like, It's gotten so bad that because we're so loud on the timeline, when people start seeing Pharaoh PFPs on any form of Twitter post, they feel like it's botted because of um, how loud and wild we tend to get. And I think there are a lot of like design cues that sort of justify it. Like the if you're in sneakers, the Pharaoh silhouette is so common for all the PFPs that you feel like it's the same PFP 8 million times, and it's a problem. That's why me and Tim are really excited for this art overhaul that we're entering, because I feel like it changes the silhouette in such a way that it makes things interesting. Um, at least that's the first part of the coin. Beyond it, we also have what we call task to earn, and I'm not sure if anyone can see the task to earn platform, but let me
Yeah, let me
try
see if I
to.
can. Oh, here, I should be able to pull it up. I've got it set up here. Let me. Bear with me, guys. It is. I'm using OBS and I am about to transition in another screen. So hopefully all will go smoothly and we can see the Tombraid screen. Okay. That is Tombraid. Let me just move that over there. So I just need to sort my windows out a sec. That can go there. That can go there. That can get minimized there. Boom. Right. Is this the right one?
Nope, it's a rug. They're all rugs now.
Is that working?
I don't see it, but I hope everyone else does.
On YouTube, yeah, we've got it on YouTube. So let's just see. Screen share. Just doesn't seem to be picking up my the movement on it. How's that looking on YouTube? Just check if you can see that, would you? I'm just going to ping it to you on Discord in that chat we're in. The link for YouTube. If you just go there, see if you can see the screen share. I thought it would be live. I don't know why it's not.
Oh, I can. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it there.
Yep, yep. There's a bit of delay, but yeah. Um, so Tomb Raid, for what it's worth, you can go to the task section, and that opens sort of our way to do affiliate marketing for Pharaohs. We have this all on chain and automated, where there are certain deals that we've cut with a lot of these companies, like Web2 companies, where if you do certain things and complete the tasks, you get rewarded in various forms. Like I know people have made like $200 from some of these tasks, and they're geo locked. So what I'm seeing is very different from what YSE is seeing. So you're seeing tasks here, which you literally just need to complete it, and one of the Pharaoh teams will validate that it was finished, and then once it is finished, you'll sort of after confirmation and validation process, you'll get rewarded in the form of points or USDC. So there are things like surveys, signing up to like a casino, to sending a free gift to X or Y, watching videos, all that stuff. So instead of watching your ads, like instead of watching those ads on YouTube, you could just do it on Task to Earn, and that would sort of give you money as well, instead of just skipping. But yeah, it was a way to sort of give a new dimension to the tasks. Um, We're testing it with some hotels, so hotel reviews. We're also testing it with some events, so event attendance and all that stuff. But essentially, activating your community or activating Web 2 through Web 3 means.
Wow. Okay. So that is basically, as I understand it, this is open to the public, right?
Yep.
And so anyone can come on here and start earning. Um, do they need to hold an NFT to do this, or they can just come in and start earning straight away? Like, how does that work?
They can just come in and start earning straight away. For pharaohs, you make a little bit more. You also get joined into a jackpot, which at the end of the day, you get rewards from if you hit the jackpot. But it's designed essentially
Incredible,
to
man.
have
And so you
lots of
go.
people. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so what we're seeing here is, I just love this, is exactly what we were talking about in terms of using your feet in Web3 and on chain, but you're opening the power of that up to Web2 companies to start gaining exposure to it in a way that just involves absolutely no real need to understand what's happening, right? Like they don't need to open wallets. Am I right in saying this? They can just literally speak to you about providing these tasks, and then they gain the advantage of being exposed to your users completing them.
Yep. 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 It's just there's just a very intricate onboarding process for anyone who wants to set up a task for them. I think we'll start streamlining it once there are more deals. But with the 10,000 deals, I don't think we'll be. Uh, I don't think there's lots of reason to start streamlining it. Like for now, it's just a matter of like getting those tasks to complete and getting the word around. Because I think when people start figuring out what we're capable of, it's just up to mass adoption already, right? There are a couple people who have like sent us valuations for how much pharaohs could actually be, and I know, man. I'm excited to just see how it evolves because right now it's utility that just sustains itself, and we've only made it
Perfect.
public
That is,
only ever so recently.
yeah, I remember the announcement, and it's I just love to see this, man. Like this is for me is the vision of what Web3 is all about. You know, is obviously eventually all of these companies will be on some sort of chain, but I think the intermediary process of onboarding Web 2 and Web 2.5 people is exactly what you're doing here. Because the minute they start seeing, well, we're making money, or these tasks, we get an extra promotion, whatever whatever they've put up here as the task, when they're completed and to a high standard, they're going to start to see the value of that. And you mentioned about exposure, right? You mentioned about the issue, and this is the problem solution that Uni-Fy has seen, right? Is they are all of these fantastic utilities and products, and frankly, this is one of the best, but they do not get the same exposure Web 2 companies would get when you're running your marketing and advertising, right? And if let's say someone doesn't find this website first, they hear about Alpha Pharaohs and they hear about raiding, but they don't know how to find it. How do they find it, right? They have to go into crypto Twitter, and once they're in crypto Twitter, they have to learn to navigate round and find the Discord link or the web link,
Oh,
and then they
I
go
think I
into.
lost him.
Oh, can you hear me?
I think I lost him. Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay, I think you're back.
Oh, okay. Where did you get up to? Where was I?
They go into crypto Twitter and then dot dot dot.
Yes, so in order to discover utility projects such as yourselves, or yeah, so let's just focus on you guys. So if someone wants to find Tombraid and they don't find the web link, they have to go into crypto Twitter. They then have to navigate crypto Twitter, find Alpha Pharaohs. They then either choose to go to the link to the website and work it out from there, or they would need to go into a Discord. Now, straight away, there are barriers to entry there. And what Uni-Fy aims to do is absolutely remove those barriers to entry. So, although we are again fully on chain, you can create your own on-chain e-commerce brand stores. They come with community marketing built in. You will be able to find it on a Web2 front. So you will see a window into Web3, and all of these products and all of these service providers that you find, they will look familiar in a sense of Amazon, right? You scroll through and you'll see a shop that sells this, or a provider that sells this. And what we allow for then is a easier way for people to find Web3 products and services without really recognizing the fact or having to write down a seed phrase, and for us, this is like a major factor in the issue of sustainability within Web3, because we are, I would say, in an echo chamber overall. Yes, we come out. Yes, you guys are coming out, and people are coming from Web2, and they're able to use your services. But imagine that on a broader scale, and with adverts running, with affiliate marketing happening to each brand, each page, and then the whole website. So the way we've set this up is you can generate affiliate links for a singular brand page, a singular product, or the entire website. And no matter what happens, everyone gets a commission when a sale goes through. So if you are promoting Tombraid, but they come on and they go to Tombraid and they actually go and buy a hat from ODK, for instance, then you're still getting a commission. And it creates this positive feedback loop where everyone is inherently incentivized to go out and really push your product and service to a whole new audience. And then on top of that, because of the affiliate link, you can now take your product and service off crypto Twitter, out of the echo chamber, and you can post these in blog posts, you can put these in email marketing campaigns. So you imagine if you are an affiliate marketer already with an established email list, and you're now able to go and take something like Tombraid and start promoting that to, let's say, business to business, as actually onboarding new tasks, then you are essentially going to be picking up fairly substantial commissions with a system that you've already built in Web2. And that for us is one of the most important factors of Uni-Fy, and what we feel Web3 is missing in terms of accessibility by non-crypto natives.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. How there's such a niche problem that you guys are solving as well, because I think that's where a lot of people are struggling. Like that whole, how do I reach out beyond the walls of Web3,
Yep.
right? And you guys have the perfect solution to it.
Yep. Yep. We this is what we've, you see problems, right, and you try and find the solutions to it. And I mean, we've been working on this for over a year, to bring this to fruition. And we've been now building, the dev's been coding this for coming up for 3 months, and we're very close to going to closed beta testing. So we're really excited, and really think that this is something that's going to benefit not just Web3, but you could come in as a Fiverr, someone who's got a gig on Fiverr, and now you can go and you can expose that to Web3. And
Yep.
again, if you're a brand and you're looking to do an NFT collection, where the fuck do you start? Right? Like, where do you go if you're a completely non-crypto native and you want to make an NFT collection and build a Discord community? Well, you go to Uni-Fy, and you can have the The artists, you'll see how highly renowned they are. You'll see their reviews and you'll see their feedback and you'll see their community. You'll see the legal teams that you can use. You'll see the marketing. You'll see the advisors like yourselves. And you'll be able to pick and choose from a curated selection of the true, tried and tested service providers of the highest quality. And that way, your entry into Web3 will be much safer and more secure.
Dope, 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 dope.
Yeah, I'm excited and extremely biased. Right. I'm just going to hit you with a few more questions and then, I want to let you settle down and spend a bit of time with your dog before you pass out.
It's cool, man. She's asleep. She's asleep.
Oh,
She'll wake me
beautiful.
up at 5 a.m. again,
Oh,
motherfucker.
beautiful. So where are we? Like we've been through a lot. We've spoken about Tombraid. We've spoken about the task to earn, which is just so exciting, man. Like I'm so impressed with that. I think you've done a fantastic job. Um, and yeah, so do you want to share like the most difficult factor of running a Web3 business, and you could relate that to, and you could relate to both your consulting and like the difficulties you see across multiple projects, or you could just focus on Alpha Pharaohs and some of the difficult points that you've come across there. I know one of them has been keeping up with Elon Musk, changing the API entries and stuff like that.
Honestly, I think the difficult part in whether Pharaohs, Nekos, or Thunder, or even with like projects that I advise, mm, it's really maneuvering your way around all these half-ass scammers and um, snake oil salesmen in the space. Because a lot of people,
Well put.
when you're up, when you're up, bro, everyone wants you. Like when your floor is above 10 soul, you're like the talk of the town. Um, so slowly volume dies, and then suddenly, nope, 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 we're not paying for you. You're not allowed into our club anymore. And then you realize who were really there for you. I think that's also why like we've seen Jet on the timeline, my co-founder for Nekozuma. We've seen him go from like DGOD Maxi to fudding DGODs to leaving X Plus to all that stuff. Because it doesn't matter your PFP, no matter how expensive it is. Most of the people, and I say most of the people are really just snake salesmen. They're just here to play PvP and pump their own bags, pump their own bias. Rarely do you see people who are like-minded, who actually have priority for the common good. And when you meet these people, you sort of take care of them. I think that's also why I, for example, when the bear fully hit, instead of like consolidating into a blacksmith or like DGOD or any of these other blue chips, I just chose to enter the Dead King Society, where I found a lot of people who I echoed values and principles with, and that's enough. That's enough breathing room for my sanity. Because most of the other communities, I mean, because they're so popular, right? They're also filled with the same dangerous players that we sort of tippy toe around. So I guess the real alpha is like find people that you know you will learn off of, that can be mentors, that you share common values with. Strangely enough, and I think I realized this after saying yes to Jet. Um, NFTim is a very devout Christian. Strangely enough, when I entered Nekuzuma, I found out 3 months later that Jet is just as devout a Christian as Tim. So unspokenly, I think God decided to surround me with like people who share the same belief chain as me. So even if I'm not as like well practiced in my religion, I ended up having to work with people who are. So the values just transcended.
I I really appreciate that, man, and I think I I've been saying for some time, like, I'm not a religious man, but I am a spiritual man, and I certainly believe in a higher power, but I believe in the power of us, as individuals, and the ability to steer our future. And one thing I have noticed since being in Web3 is the speed of manifestation when you stay focused seems to be extremely accelerated, whereas in comparison to in Web2 or IRL, right, in real life. So, like, if you stay focused on your goal and your target in Web3 and you make every effort to progress your skills to match where you want to get to, you will meet the people that you need to meet and make those connections that you needed to make. And that for me has just proven itself again and again and again. And it sounds similarly like what you've just said, like, the plan for you is to surround you with people you need at the time. And you can take that however you want to take it, but it there's something going on, within this ecosystem. I think that it certainly goes a lot unspoken, because it's an odd topic to talk about when you're talking about technology. But yeah, it's interesting you say that, man. That's kind of my take on a similar aspect.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget to realize like there are still people behind the screens, and um there's the saying that light attracts light, right? Like if you surround yourself with good people just keep coming in. So I think that that happens, but also you birth the kind of people that you end up attracting. So if you end up filling yourself with scammers, maybe you've also scammed just as hard, or you're getting set up into a situation where you need to learn more of yourself to be more self-aware. Because I don't know, the Solana and Web3 and honestly every blockchain is cutthroat. There are no People always say there are no friends, but I think I've met some of the realest people in the space, and I think it's because at the heart of it, it's what it is. Like-minded people attract like-minded people.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, man. Um, and it goes to show, doesn't it? And so you mentioned Dead King Society there. I don't know enough about them. I'd love to know more. I love the art. Could you give us a little bit of info on that?
Dead King Society is a 100 one of one collection where each member is individually vetted. Where I think the investor type is someone who one has the experience of the real world, to two not be overinvested into illiquid JPEGs, but three carry themselves with their professionalism to actually be people in the space who are relevant, who have good insight, and become a beacon of understanding and knowledge for everyone else in the ecosystem. That's what we carry ourselves with. Um, I entered initially with the idea that it would, well, it was a choice between them and Boogles, but I ended up coming into Dead Kings because I saw people that I respected, that I wanted to learn off of, and it's been such a wild, welcoming journey where I know that I picked up skills and ideas that I probably wouldn't have in other communities. Like it's hard to find a very well curated community where some of the biggest and wisest minds are really there. I know people get afraid of it because there are people who have the capital to literally pump and dump floors, and that's what puts people off. But stay long enough, you get to actually talk to people who are ages beyond how smart they actually are. And it's been such a fun experience. Um, there are a lot of ways to enter. I think more popularly as of recent, people have seen like those drafts for the nobles, which is sort of because each king of the 100 has four nobles to under his court. Those four nobles act as like horsemen to whatever initiative, whatever social or whatever activity these kings need to do, and they work like a team towards something that Dylan has gamified that I don't think he's disclosed yet. But how it works is like each of these signets. So there are 400 signets circulating out there. Um, each of them act as like a roster spot to a draft, and then you decide if you're signing up for the draft for each season. There are 4 seasons, and then in the draft, a certain amount of kings, like 25 per season, they're up for auction, up for drafting, and then you pick on draft list based on order, which is also randomized. You pick which king you're getting into and which noble you're getting. So it's first come first serve. If that noble gets taken, it's not yours to pick anymore. And each of the nobles also have one of one art. So it's a full identity, and you sort of have your own secret posse and shit. Which I think
Wow.
it's innovative and fun and like um it's cool. Like beyond just the king and the lores of the kings, a lot of the nobles have just been like total G's, like super fun, super skilled individuals as well.
Find a well curated community like that, and it sounds like you've found one there because again, going back to the power of Web3 is you can find yourself of any skill level, any financial ramification, any level in life. You can rub shoulders and have conversations with people way beyond your realm of real life reach, right? You would never necessarily be able to speak to those people in real life, but yet Web3 allows you to share conversation, share thoughts, and share knowledge, and learn from people that you just wouldn't have the opportunity to do so anywhere else. And that's been really powerful for me, and it sounds like that Dead King Society has got that on lock, and I'm now feeling a little bit of FOMO. And I will have my eyes set on getting up to one of those. I think because that for me is so like in my real life. You always hear like when you listen to mentors and motivational speakers, they're like surround yourself with people who are above your knowledge, understanding, pay grade, whatever. Surround yourself with people like what you want to be. And in real life, for me, that's been really difficult. Like it's not easy to find people like that. But in Web3, I have been able to do that, and I've been able to learn from some really incredible people and meet some really incredible people. One of them being my co-founder, who's just a fantastic dude and shares my work ethic and sentiment in terms of like giving your all or nothing, really. So it's been a real pleasure, that journey in Web3, and I think that's something that if you are new to Web3, I think that's something to really consider is if you go in search of bettering yourself and leveling yourself up, that it is a great place to do it because there's no barrier to you meeting multimillionaires or PhD doctors, or like there's someone from everywhere in here, and they're all willing to speak to you. There's none of this. What do you call it? Like hierarchy, I guess.
You're right. You're right. I often say though that in Web3, it's unique in the sense that you can actually feel it, that you can jump social classes just from existing in the space. But also, there's the learning that when you network, you don't network upwards, you network sidewards, which initially I didn't understand. Because, I mean, the world teaches us, at least all these master classes teaches us in college, that you need to go for like, go and learn skills from the people ahead of you. I think in Web3, what I've learned, and I've learned this also from just um, staying in the space, when you network sidewards, you sort of set yourself up to being in line to actually dominate because generations and the people around you are actually what propel the world forward. So instead of just chasing up after Michael Jordan, just be Kobe Bryant and stay in your lane. I think that was I think that was something that opened my eyes to just why do I try to copy up after Mike when I am so good on my own? I have everything else. I have a new scenario, a new paradigm that's all on me, and the world's my cloister. I think that's something that I started to realize because when I started to network sidewards, I realized that I could solve people's problems that they don't know. That if I carry them up, we carry our generation up. And when it's sort of a generational thing that's just altogether snowballing, you're sort of relentless, right? Like you know how I always look at it as how like in basketball speak because it's more obvious. But look what LeBron did when he came into the league compared to Mike. What Mike did, he just dominated. What LeBron did, he dominated and made everyone else dominate with him. So he created a generational group of talents, which right now you're seeing an ecosystem in basketball where there are so many fucking all stars
Yeah.
compared to Mike's time where every team just had one, had two. So it makes sense. It makes sense. It made more sense when I started to compare it that way. And then you look at it in sports, sports now are on that level because a lot of them just built the generation. They didn't focus on just chasing up after the guy in Chicago.
I love that. That is a fantastic analogy. I think you're absolutely right. And yeah, it's like the other day I went to a local conference, crypto conference, and like you say, you sort of look up and you're always trying to go up there, but actually when you start going sideways, you have a different experience. And I went there with the thought that I was going to go and learn, and there's going to be lots of people there with lots of experience, and I'm going to speak to them and learn from them. And actually, as it turned out, I sat there and I was just being questioned because I'd had the most time in the market. I'd had more experience on chains, and it was quite a humbling experience. And often you doubt yourself, don't you, in this space, and sometimes you think, oh, am I doing things right, and have I actually learned anything? But in reality, these sorts of things actually reinforce the fact that you have done your 10,000 hours, and you've been in an ecosystem that not many people know about for so long, that you are ahead of the game compared to a lot of people. And going upwards, you won't always notice that, but going sideways, you not only meet people who have got different skill sets, but it reinforces your own, and that's been really good.
100%. 100%.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I know my kids are about to come home and start screaming at us, and so I think this is a good place to wrap things up. And I wanted to just ask you, if people want to find you, they want to reach out, they want to use your advisory service, where do you want them to go? Where's the best place to find you and get in touch with you?
Best is on Twitter. Like I'm probably easier to respond to on Twitter. You can always tweet me and just say, "Can you DM me?" I think I'm just as responsive, or my PA can actually get it. yes, I do have to have a PA now because of all the inquiries. It's been wild. Discord DMs, because I'm at the 1,000 friend list, that might be difficult, but you can always just yell and dance in the Pharaoh server. I will get to see it. Don't worry.
There you go. And you know, follow Snooze on every social platform you can. Get into the Alpha Pharaohs Discord and check out their Tombraid platform and just get involved. If you want to start earning money in Web3 and you have no idea how to do it, Tomb Raider's got you. It's public, it's familiar, it's easy to use. You can go there, you don't need any NFTs or wallets, you can just go and do that. So I highly suggest checking them out. Snoot, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. And I look forward to having you on again, maybe towards the Alpha Pharaohs art upgrades and stuff that you're doing, or I shouldn't call it upgrades because it's fantastic, but like reformation. And I know I'm hoping to get Tim on the podcast, and maybe we can get the three of us going and really get some alpha going on Alpha Pharaohs. But it's been a real pleasure and an honor to have you on here, man. I appreciate
By
your
all
time.
means, man, it was my pleasure. I enjoy doing this because I mean, there's a lot more knowledge when you just share your thoughts freely. So yeah, I'm down for anything, man.
Awesome. I'm definitely we'll stay on. I'm going to end the stream, but we'll just stay on for a summary. And yeah, guys, every week I hold this podcast every Tuesday, 1600 normally. This was all a bit of a time issue because of the multiple time zones that we're all working through. So this isn't the normal time we host it. It will normally be 1600 EST, 2000 GMT. If you know of projects, founders, entrepreneurs, or you yourself want to come up, we'd be really happy to have you up. Hit me up in DMs. I'm YSE NFT on Twitter, and obviously Uni-Fy is my project, and that is where you can also find us. Our Discord is open, all the links are in the description, and we really look forward to seeing you next week. So thanks for all of you that tuned in, and thanks for watching those who are come for the recording. Take care, guys. Thank you.